60 seconds, 1 minute till live, 60 seconds.
Right.
30 seconds. Okay, here we go in about 10 seconds. Big smiles, everyone.
Thank you for all coming today. On behalf of the League of Women Voters, my name is Anita Simmons, and I will be the moderator for our forum this afternoon between Ms. Alethea West and Mr. James R. Knight. And this is the forum for the mayor of Hopkinsville. The League of Women Voters are a nonpartisan political organization that encourages the informed and active participation of citizens in government, works to increase the understanding of major public policy issues, and influences public policy through education and advocacy. The League takes action on issues but does not support or oppose candidates or parties. Questions are prepared by a closed committee of League members, and the questions relate to the potential office of the candidate. The moderator is not given the questions until the time of the forum. A coin is flipped among candidates to determine who speaks first, and in this coin toss, Mr. Knight won, so he will have opening remarks, and Ms. West will do the closing remarks first. Each candidate has 2 minutes for opening remarks. Each candidate is then given 3 minutes to answer each question with 1 minute for a rebuttal if necessary, 1 rebuttal if necessary. And each candidate has 2 minutes for closing remarks. The candidates are timed by our League members, and a yellow sign means you have 30 seconds remaining, and a red sign means stop. There's no time remaining. So, Mr. Knight, will you open it up with your opening remarks, please?
Thank you to the League of Women Voters, and thank you to the City of Hopkinsville for letting us use the chambers this evening. I'm a long life member, resident of Hopkinsville. Me and my wife, Karen, we have 3 children we've raised here. We have 2 granddaughters that are growing up here. The people of Hopkinsville have been good to my family and my small business for 47 years. Over the 47 years, I've worked in many homes. Excuse me. From Novadale to Vine Street, from West First down to Great Oaks to all over the city. We've worked. Talking to the members of these households, one thing they really want for Hopkinsville is a place for their kids to come home to, and a place for the grandkids can feel safe and be very prosperous and thrive in. I want to take my business background and move it forward and move Hopkinsville forward. So I'm asking for your vote on November the 8th. Please vote for me, J.R. Knight.
All right, thank you, Mr. Knight. Ms. West?
Hello, everyone. My name is Alethea West, and I'm running for mayor here in Hopkinsville. I've lived in Hopkinsville all my life, and what I want to do is to help move Hopkinsville forward. In order to move things forward, I want to start off by saying thank you to the League of Women Voters and being kind and considerate to people. Thank you all for watching this debate tonight, because your time is valuable and we will not waste it tonight. I believe in a good quality life for the citizens of Hopkinsville and myself. I have one daughter that I reared here in Hopkinsville, and I feel very proud to say that I provided a good quality of life for her. And I want to display those same qualities to you, for you and your children. In Hopkinsville, we have great resources. We are well connected across this southern east coast of the country. And I want us to capitalize on some of the opportunities that we have in this area, such as regional relationships, opportunities to expand our educational system here, to capitalize on the local colleges that we have here in Hopkinsville and this region. I believe we can thrive, but we can only thrive together. We can only move forward together by being considerate, providing access to resources, and capitalizing on every opportunity that we have, that we can better each ward that we have. Every ward should be a destination. Downtown should be a destination. Overall, Hopkinsville is going to be a destination. I thank you for listening tonight, and I appreciate your vote on November 8th. My name is Alethea West. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. West. Since Mr. Knight went first, you will get the first question. The very first question is, what would be your top 2 priorities if you are elected?
My top 2 priorities if I was elected is going to be youth development. We have a great number of youth in this city. However, we have opportunities. However, our children are struggling to gain access to those opportunities. And youth development is going to be a top priority. I want to establish a youth workforce program to give our youth purposeful living. I know when I was young, I participated in the JTPA job program, and it gave me a purpose to live and to work and to contribute to my mom's household. And I know a lot of children, they want to do that today, but they just don't always know how. The second thing that I want to do is to help our city thrive by providing economic opportunities. As I said earlier in my opening, that we are centrally located on the southern east side of the country. We have access to a lot of opportunities as far as creating more jobs, expanding off of I-69, expanding off of Highway 114, and I know that we can capitalize on those opportunities, and I want to help push economic growth in this area so that we can thrive and have a better quality of life for each and every citizen in this city.
Thank you, Ms. West. Mr. Knight, what would be your top 2 priorities if you are elected?
Top 2 priorities are going to be jobs, economic growth here in Hopkinsville. We have to bring jobs to Hopkinsville. We have to get better paying jobs in Hopkinsville for the people who are living here and for the young people to come back. If we do not give a better paying job, they will go somewhere else. And we have to bring back and bring higher paying jobs. We have to get off the minimum of $30,000. We have to raise our rates and get the pay up in our city up off of $30,000 and move it up. If we want better retail, we want better jobs, we want better restaurants, we have to bring up our annual income base. Second thing will be public safety. Our police department, our fire department, our public works, our sidewalks, we have to bring that up to standards that we say are worth living in Hopkinsville for. If we do not bring these up, we have to bring our fire department forward, and we have to bring our police department forward. If we do not bring our police department forward, we're roughly 13 officers down right now. We have to get that up, because if people don't feel safe, they won't live here.
All right, thank you.
I'd like to rebuttal.
Yes, one rebuttal.
In regards to safety and the fire department, as serving on city council, our city council have worked tirelessly to fund our law enforcement. We have provided, I believe, over $300,000 for cameras to go throughout the city. We have provided incentives for the fire department, ECC, and all first responders here in our city. So when we talk about safety, our city, yes, we do have issues, but we are relatively safe. But we have worked tirelessly to try to improve our police and fire department. At this time, we have also increased our law enforcement officers, because due to COVID, we could not send people to the training facilities. So we have in this city worked tirelessly to improve our first responders. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Knight. Let's see. What would you do to help restore downtown buildings?
Downtown buildings, we have to get creative in how we're going to restore them. We have a lot of older buildings downtown. It takes a lot to fix them up. We have incentives for the property owners through downtown, through legacy and all that. But we also got to get people to invest in the small buildings downtown that are empty. You know, we have to give incentives to do that. We also have to get people motivated and clean up downtown. Downtown is the heart of our city. And I tell anyone, the heart of our city, if we don't clean it up, they just ride on by us like we got a black eye. We have to clean it up, we have to make it look good, and we will push forward to move Hopkinsville forward downtown.
All right, thank you. Ms. West, what would you do to help restore downtown buildings?
Well, we are doing it right now. Through Community Development Service, we have, our Community Development Service has worked with the Walker Collaborative over a number of years to come up with a plan to develop downtown, and we are steadily on that path. What I will do is to continue to support what we have in place, because any leader that comes into this position, you're going to have to look, you have to listen, and you have to learn. And so there are things in place. One thing that I do know that downtown could use is more collaboration between the city and private investors for them to invest downtown. As you all can see, our buildings are being painted, they are looking better. We have businesses coming. We want more businesses coming. But if we want our downtown to thrive, one thing that we are going to have to do is also invest on these neighborhoods outside downtown. Because when people come into this town, they see the neighborhoods first before they actually see the downtown. So one thing that I will do is to continue to collaborate with CDS and also help our surrounding neighborhoods. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. West. The next question is, when infrastructure money comes to Hopkinsville in Christian County, what projects would be your priority?
You said infrastructure money?
Yes.
Okay. Well, when you speak about infrastructure money must go to infrastructure. Right now, I do know with HWEA, they are working on a $45 million project, which they're doing very well with. I know with Hopkinsville Electric, they are expanding internet service throughout the city and throughout the county. So what I would do is just to continue to support that. We did invest as a city council $2.1 million of ARPA funds to fix our roads. So one thing that we will continue to do is work on our roads, make sure that our utilities have capacity for growth. And so what I will do is support the initiatives that our utility companies and our public works have in place to provide us with a better infrastructure.
All right, thank you. Mr. Knight, when infrastructure money comes to Hopkinsville and Christian County, what projects would be your priority?
The infrastructure money will have to be used for infrastructure, just like right now, water companies moving forward with theirs, and HES and Pennyroyal are moving forward with their money on the internet broadband. But we have to keep moving forward. We got the gas company right now putting in new gas lines in all over Hopkinsville, where we hadn't had gas lines replaced since the 40s. So we have to get on board and start pushing and keeping infrastructure up on the cutting edge. If we don't, we're falling behind. Yes, we spent the money on the roads, but our road department and city streets are in bad shape. They're still in bad shape. They've worked, city council members worked really hard at getting us money, but we need to take that money and keep pushing forward instead of waiting until election year to put down some asphalt. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Mr. Knight, what would you do better? What would you do to better support law enforcement to mitigate crime and violence?
Well, we had to first sit down and talk with the police department and law enforcement here in Hopkinsville, because we do have a crime problem. We have it with our children, we have it in our adults. We do have a drug problem, we do have a crime problem. And we do have to sit down and talk to these agencies and figure out what the root of the problem is, and then we need to go and take care of it and work hard to move forward on the police department, and let's get them what they need to do their job.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. West, what would you do to better support law enforcement to mitigate crime and violence?
What I would do is what I have been doing since I've been a citizen in this Hopkinsville. I have always been a proponent of law enforcement, never spoke against law enforcement, never stated ever that I would defund law enforcement. I have always stated that I would support good law enforcement. What I would do, as I have done on council, is support and vote for the things, well, as a mayor, you cannot vote, but present things to supply their needs. If they need equipment, then we supply them with the equipment. If they need training, then we supply them with training. I know one thing that the chief of police did speak about is that they wish we had a training facility close in this vicinity versus all the way at Eastern Kentucky University. So I wouldn't mind putting, dollars to that, or seeing how, as a community, we can support having a training facility for law enforcement in this area. But I have always been a proponent of law enforcement, and the way I would do it is to continue to show my support, provide resources. A lot of people do not know the police department has one of the highest budgets in our city. And in this city, we have never, ever not funded them the money that they need so that they can do their jobs. But the other thing that I would do to support law enforcement in this city is we get down to the root cause. Who are they dealing with the most? What community are they dealing with the most? What group, what age group are they dealing with the most? And then let's look at the root cause. One of the things that I want to establish is a youth job certification program, to have a purposeful living program for youth. I want to go after the children that are the worst of the worst, the hardest to deal with. Why? Because if you don't have the knowledge to how to apply for a job, maintain a job, conflict resolution, personal finance, and housing, if you don't have those basic needs that every human being requires to live, then you will look to the streets for it. And when they look to the streets, then that means that most likely they're going to have an interaction with law enforcement. What I want to do is I want to mitigate that right at the root, help these young people have a purpose for living here in this city so that we can help reduce crime. People turn to crime when they don't have the things that they need. We cannot supply every need in the city, but what we can do is help mitigate some of the issues by giving these children and these young adults the resources that they need to become productive adults. And that is one way that is two ways that we can help law enforcement. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. West, you will have the next question first. How would you tackle the homelessness issue in Hopkinsville? And there's a second part to that. How would you implement any plan that you propose?
Okay. How will I tackle homelessness? The one thing I do know is that no one can stop homelessness. The only thing that we can do is mitigate it. The way I would work to mitigate it, first, I would establish a homeless prevention coalition. Here in Hopkinsville, we do not have a coalition where we have stakeholders coming together to understand how many people we're dealing with, what is the problem that we're dealing with, and how exactly can we mitigate it, because we'll never stop it. So that will look like this. It will look like Penarel Mental Health. It will look like CDS. It will look like law enforcement. It will look like the city, and then it will also look around. Let me slow down. It will also have wraparound services. Having these people come together, the stakeholders and the people who deal with people who have homeless issues, having them there at the table to understand what they need. That's the only way that we can help mitigate it. And then what we can do, we can also work with landlords and ask them, if we as a city partner with you, can you keep so many houses available for our homeless population? And then we give them that support, that landlord, the support that they need. So that's what it would look like. Also working with the housing authority. Can we have so many apartments that is set aside for homeless people? We can work that way. We can get it done. Now the second part to that, can you repeat that part?
Yes, I can. It says, how would you implement the plan that you propose?
All right, I'm saying that. All right, so the way it would be implemented is, number one, with collaboration. and have it all involved with people who are suffering with the crisis of homelessness at the table. We have to have people at the table so that we can know exactly what we're dealing with and how to deal with it best. And I do believe that as a city, we need to have the Salvation Army as a line item on our budget so we can have money going to them. They are on the front lines dealing with homelessness, and they cannot carry this burden of dealing with homelessness by themselves. This is a city issue, and we have to deal with it together. And that will require stakeholders from all over the community sitting at the table. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Knight, how would you tackle the homelessness issue in Hopkinsville? And the second part to that question, how would you implement any plan that you propose?
The homeless issue is a big problem here in Hopkinsville, all over Hopkinsville, not just downtown, it's all over. If you go right down here, you see it on the corners here downtown. We go out 7th Street down here behind Arby's, there's tents lined up down there against the river. We do have a problem in Hopkinsville. I've walked through there, I've talked to some of the people that are in there. They live in this, what they call tent cities, and all around Hopkinsville. You walk down from 1st Street to Walnut Street on the railroad in the morning from between 4:30 and 6 o'clock in the morning, you'll see the homeless people. We have an abundance of homeless people. Some want help, some don't want help. Some are a mental issue that we need to work with the people on, but in our agencies. But we also have to get our community out there to help us support the homeless problem. We need to get them out there and see what we can do to help them. Our churches, our organizations in Hopkinsville, how can we get you involved to get you out there to help us solve it? We are not going to solve it completely because some of them don't want help. Some of them are just traveling from the north to the south and then from the south back to the north when the seasons change. But there is a lot out there that need help and that we're going to help. Now, how are we going to do that? We're going to, like I said, we're going to work with our churches, we're going to work with our civic organizations, and the city's going to have to put a panel together and how are we going to sit down and talk about it and how are we going to help these people. Salvation Army is a way. Do I see putting Salvation Army as a line item budget? No, I do not. They have a large budget already, over $2 million worth of budget, and I understand, because I've worked in their shelters, they need a bigger shelter, they need an upgrade in their shelter. You know, I understand that, but I have worked in it. I've worked on the heat, I've worked on the wiring in it, it's in bad shape. We have to figure a way to help it move forward, because they do help our community. If you don't believe us, let's just walk over in the morning time for breakfast and lunch. We got them lined up, and we have to figure out how we're going to do that.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Knight, you will get the next question first. In the future, how would you suggest the city fund the city employee pension beyond the reserves established?
City pension, that is something we really got to work on. It is a line item budget already on the budget, and I think instead of us not funding it every time it comes up, we want to spend the money somewhere else, let's put the money we said we were going to put in that budget for the pension, that's where we spend it. Not move it around, or all we took the money from COVID, we took $2 million and we kicked the can again. We have to sit down and make sure that is funded 110% for our city workers, because we promised that to them, and I believe we have to honor that.
All right, thank you. Ms. Knight, excuse me, Ms. West, I'm sorry. In the future, how would you suggest the city fund the city employee pension beyond the reserves established?
I think we just need to make a decision and allocate money to that pension trust every year. Every budget, we make sure that we give a substantial amount of money to that. In this city, we have not taken that 4% that we can take each year. We haven't taken that over a course of, I think, 3 or 4 years. So that means we have missed out on maybe like $187,000 each year. And I refer to that because what that means is that as inflation go up, our money should go up as well, but it's not because we did not take the tax. Now, I understand for taxpayers, you don't like that, you don't want that, but if we want to fund our pension like we're supposed to, if we want to fund the things that we have in the city, we may have to take that tax, but if we take that tax, then we have to make sure that we earmark that money specifically for our pension. Do we have to do it all the time? I mean, when we earmark that money, you earmark it, but do you have to take a tax every year? You don't have to take it every year if you stay on top of it. So I do believe, for me, in my leadership, we must allocate earmark some money specifically for our pension so that we can get out of that hole. And this is a problem with the pension. It's a problem that was not created by the city of Hopkinsville. It was created by the state. And so therefore, we are responsible for dealing with it. And so the way we're gonna have to deal with it is by making sure that we earmark some additional dollars to that pension problem so we can move forward. But making sure that when we do earmark that money, that we have it possibly in a trust so that it can make money while it's sitting there and add to the balance. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. West, this next question is pretty long, so I'm going, if you want me to repeat it again,
Okay.
I will. In order to put our city on a more level field with Clarksville for available inventory of new single and multi-family homes, would you support more aggressive incentives for developers and contractors, including regularly advertising RFPs and holding builders fairs similar to job fairs to attract developers and match them with owners of land, financial institutions, CDS, utilities, EDC, etc.? And this, I'll let both of you know, this was a question that was put on our Facebook page. It's a public question. And this is a question that came from the public here in Hopkinsville. So would you like for me to read it again?
Yes, one more time.
Okay. In order to put our city on a more level field with Clarksville for available inventory of new single and multi-family homes, would you support more aggressive incentives for developers and contractors, including regularly advertising RFPs and holding builders fairs similar to job fairs to attract developers and match them with owners of land, financial institutions, CDS, utilities, EDC, etc.?
Yes. Yes, I am in support of that. We know that to be on the same level of playing field with Clarksville, we're going to have to make some changes. But the changes that we must make is not only in regards to how we deal with our developers, but how we deal with our people. Because you want people to come to this city and live. And if you want people to come and live in this city, you have to be open to diversity. You have to be open to belonging. So yes, I am in support of having a builder's fair. Yes, I am in support of relaxing zoning and providing incentives to developers. But in order for those developers to come, they can come and they can build. And we can provide these incentives, but we got to get the people. And one thing that Clarksville has over us is that they are more open to diversity and belonging of people. And so we are going to have to do these things that were just listed in the question, but we're also going to have to help people to belong in this city. And even the ones in this city, we're going to have to encourage them and help them to decide to stay here. Because believe it or not, we are on a downward trend of people leaving our city. And in 20 to 30 years, we probably are going to continue that, but we have to change that. So yes, I am in support of leveling the playing field to cause developers to be here. Yes, I am. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Knight. I will read the question twice for you also.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. In order to put our city on a more level field with Clarksville for available inventory of new, single, and multi-family homes. Would you support more aggressive incentives for developers and contractors, including regularly advertising RFPs and holding builders fairs similar to job fairs to attract developers and match them with owners of land, financial institutions, CDS, utilities, EBC, etc.? I'll read it again. Would you like me to read it?
No, ma'am, you're fine.
Okay.
Yes, 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 yes. We need to open our doors as a city for contractors to come in, builders, to come in and start building in Hopkinsville. We need more houses. We need to multiply 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, multifamily homes. We have to do that. To be on a level playing field with Clarksville, yes. We have to open up and just say, hey, come on, come to Hopkinsville, we want you. But we also have to open our hearts and our arms up and then greet these people and tell them they're wanted here. If they're not feel like they're wanted here, they're not going to stay here. And we have to make them feel like this is home to them. Ms. West alluded to the population problem. Yes, ma'am, we do have one. I'm not sure on how to fix it, but I'm looking at it very well. You know, we are steadily going down. Everybody's over 30,000. No, we're right at 27,000. And we've been steadily dropping over the last 10 years. Our town and city is going down. We have to figure out how we're going to bring it back, and that is one way. We get affordable housing to these people so they can come here and live here. I'm talking military, teachers, doctors, nurses. You know, a lot of people, oh, we live in Clarksville, we work in Hopkinsville. No, let's move to Hopkinsville. You know, the state's already working on lowering the income tax on us. So come on, let's move on to Hopkinsville, because it's really not that much different. If we can hurry up and get to zero, we can get the state representatives and them to get themselves in here. Hopkinsville will get better because we're so close to the line, they can't decide which side they want to live on. But if we get that down, and we get them homes, and we get an annual income up so they can say we can live in Hopkinsville instead of having to work 2 jobs or 3 jobs, yes, I believe we can make Hopkinsville grow with our builders, and we can get the landowners to sell some of this land that they think is so precious, and which it is precious. But we also got to have it, precious homes in Hopkinsville, to make Hopkinsville a family-oriented town. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Knight, you will get this next question first. If elected, what 3 steps would you take to put our city on a firm financial footing?
We have to get Hopkinsville on a firm financial footing. We have to get jobs for us. That creates a tax base. We build homes, we create a tax base. Instead of us saying we're going to raise people's taxes that are here, if we make more jobs, and we have a better income for people, they'll buy cars, they'll buy houses, they'll buy groceries, they'll buy clothes. That will change our tax and raise it better. It'll change our payroll tax, because it's going to call people to work here. And when we do that, we'll get better on a better financial state to where we can be. Yes, we got to look at what we have. We got to rein in our budget a little bit, and I believe we're going to do that. But what we got to do is we got to create more jobs, more growth, and more accountability for everyone in Hopkinsville. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. West, if elected, what 3 steps would you take to put our city on a firm financial footing?
The 3 steps I would take is the 3 steps that every city and every community, what they need to make money. So for our community to make money in every city across the country, there's 3 things: payroll taxes, property taxes, and tourism. When we talk about payroll taxes, last year we had a good increase on our payroll taxes for the city of Hopkinsville. This year we are projected to have a better payroll tax as well. One thing, as I have repeatedly said, that one thing that I want to push is a youth workforce program. We have a group of children in this city who have the opportunity to work. When children work, we do take taxes out of their pay. That is additional payroll taxes into our economy, so that does help. We also have a property homeowner issue here in our city. We have more renters than we do homeowners. One thing that we can do to increase revenue for our city to give us a better firm foundation in the financial aspect is to increase home ownership because we get property taxes off of those homes. Right now, I believe we're at 47%. Under my leadership, my goal is to push to increase home ownership by 25% each year of my tenure. The other part is tourism. As I stated in the beginning, in my opening, every ward in our city should be a destination. Every ward should be inviting and safe. And so any ward that you travel into should be identifiable. It should also be where you know what unique thing that each ward has, because every ward has its own identity. If we can help the tourism department of our city to make our entire city a destination, that will help increase revenue. That will also help draw people to our city, and that's what we want. And then again, if we work on helping people to belong, helping them to be included, then that's also going to draw people to our city. And that is what is going to get our city a sure, solid financial foundation. When we have people working, when we have people buying homes, and when we have people from other cities spending their money here in Hopkinsville. And that's what I want to do. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. West, you will have this question, the next question first. In what ways would you encourage Hopkinsville to continue to invest in small businesses?
Will you repeat the question?
In what ways would you encourage Hopkinsville to continue to invest in small businesses?
Okay, thank you. As a city council person, one of the things that I did as soon as I came onto the city council is I reached out to the city clerk to help me create a packet for possible new small businesses. I think one of the biggest things that we need in our community is a small business development center. Yes, we have MEDI, but what I would like to see is Kentucky Small Business Development Center here in our city, giving our small businesses the support that they need. And so I would not be opposed to, I'm actually a proponent for our city investing some money in collaboration with the Chamber, in collaboration with the Southwest Economic Development Council, to have Kentucky Small Business Development Center establish an office here. If we have them to establish an office here, they will provide workshops, they will provide professional developments and knowledge to our businesses so that they can become stronger, and for new businesses so that when they start, they will start on a sure footing so that they can survive and have longevity. So to answer that question, I am not opposed to, I'm a proponent for providing some funding to collaborate with the Chamber and Southwest Economic Development Council so that we can get Kentucky Small Business Development Center here, so we can have someone to focus in on our small businesses for us, to help us so that they can thrive. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Knight, in what ways would you encourage Hopkinsville to continue to invest in small businesses?
Small business of Hopkinsville is the backbone of our city. If we do not invest in our small businesses, we are slowly doing away with it. Our chamber is doing an excellent job with their programs they're doing. I've been through some of them with them. The economic development card, they're really pushing forward. Mr. Snorton is really working hard at MEDI. I feel like they are doing an excellent job. Can we do more? Yes. I feel like we have to do more because the backbone of our city is our small business. If we don't have the mom and pop stores or the family business, you're not surviving. Yes, we have the factories and all that, but we need the small business in Hopkinsville, the dry cleaners, the retail stores, the little candy shops, the soap stores. We need them to open in Hopkinsville, downtown, even at the retail outlet that are here in town. We need all the small business we can get because small business is the backbone of our city, and I will support 110% small business downtown, in town, all over our community, for the simple fact, if we don't have them, we're in trouble.
All right, thank you.
Yes, I would like to reply.
Yes.
In regards to our small businesses, The other thing that I would like to add, that Bowling Green is actually doing is a mini pop grants. Mini pop grants are grants that they have specifically for up-and-coming small businesses and small businesses that are established. A lot of times, small businesses, when they are starting, they do not have the knowledge base as far as how to develop their finances so that they can get more capital. Small businesses need capital. For a city, people want, for a small business, they want their city to support them with giving them capital. The way that we can do it is by having them go through sessions and establishing a mini grant program such as Bowling Green. Sometimes we do not have to reinvent, we don't have to create a brand new wheel. We can just copy what another city is doing and understand how successful they are. So that is one thing that I have studied somewhat, and I want to implement here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Knight, this next question will go to you first. What ideas do you have to increase dialogue about diversity and race relations in our community?
That's a very good question.
Would you like me to repeat it?
Yes, please.
What ideas do you have to increase dialogue about diversity and race relations in our community?
In our community, we have race. I look at this, we have to open our arms and our hearts up. Close your eyes. Quit worrying about if you're white, black, Mexican. It doesn't matter who you are. Close your eyes and just talk to the person, and you'll figure out who you are. Because I love it with my granddaughter and them, you know, we've come a long ways. They don't know the difference between black and white or anything like that. All they see is people. And I wish we could get way past that, because we need to. If we do not come together as a community, and I mean together, we all bleed red, we all answer to one man upstairs. And that's my feeling. I don't care if you're white, black, Mexican, whatever, Indian. We all are people of this city, and I feel with an open door policy and open arms and open heart, we can move our city forward and make sure we have a great city to live in.
All right, thank you. Ms. West, what ideas do you have to increase dialogue about diversity and race relations in our community?
The ideas that I have, we have had a lot of dialogue, throughout the years about diversity, equity, and inclusion. But recently on the scene, especially after COVID, we are now having more dialogue about belonging. We want people to belong. If you want people to belong to your community, then you're going to have conversations with them. So a couple of things that I have planned. I plan to do town hall meetings throughout the community. I plan to meet with each group of individuals within our community to understand what they need. What is it that they need to feel a part of our community? And then the other thing is board appointments. In our city, if you look at our boards do not represent our city. And a lot of times when we appoint people to boards, we appoint them based on their experience. But if you want true diversity, you want true intentional inclusion, then you're going to have to appoint people from diverse backgrounds to get their diverse experiences. And so I know I will be doing just that. I have heard people say, well, when we have events, everyone is welcome. You can have an event and you can bring a lot of people together. Walmart does that every day. But if we want true diversity and we want true inclusion and belonging in our community, then we're going to have to be intentional about all the needs of each group. And right now, we don't have that. We don't know what each group needs. We don't know what each group requires. And so in order to do that, we have to have town hall meetings. In order to do that, we're going to have a diverse group of people appointed to boards. And so I plan to do just that by being intentional and listening and understanding what each group needs, because each group, each culture is different. And we got to understand it first and have a conversation, and we have to be intentional on incorporating them in the business of our city. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. West, this next question will go to you first. What makes you the most qualified candidate to serve as our mayor of our city?
What makes me the most qualified candidate to serve as mayor of this city? Just like Mr. Knight, I was born and I was raised here. I was raised by a single mom, and we went through trials and tribulations, and we have overcome. I'm a product of this city, and as the city symbol says, it says we are a pearl. We are the pearl of the panorama. I'm a pearl of this city. I have been developed. I have trained myself. I have remained a constant, lifelong learner to learn the business of this city. I am compassionate. I'm a woman of integrity, and I am a woman that considers all people. I'm a woman that I look at the issues and the data of every situation that we have, that we come across, and I judge it fairly according to the data. I am the most qualified candidate because I am knowledgeable. I'm the most qualified candidate because I have the experience serving on the city council. And I'm the most qualified person because I have the passion and the integrity to run this city without any influence from people on the outside. And what I mean by that is that I will not be influenced or bullied because people want me to do a certain thing. But what I will do is I will listen and I will learn and I will serve the people well, because as an elected official today, I have taken over 110 calls. I have brought in over 200 some jobs, voted yes to over 200 some jobs in this city. I have went to numerous trainings for this city so that every decision that I make is a quality decision. It is not a decision that is done haphazardly. Because the decisions that I will make as a mayor and leading the people that work for this city, they must be done with top quality, with a top knowledge. And I am the person for the job to do that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Knight, what makes you the most qualified candidate to serve as mayor of Hopkinsville?
Hopkinsville's been really good to me, like I said in my opening statement. I have lived here all my life. I've run a business here for 22 years, of a 47-year-old business. The business, I understand business, I understand payroll, I understand what it takes, I understand employees, I understand the people of Hopkinsville. We've talked daily. It's not just me running for mayor, I talk to people daily in their homes, and I hear what their concerns are and what their needs are. From poor rental houses to the taxes are too high, all that. I've listened to the citizens of Hopkinsville. That is why I'm the best candidate for this job, because I listen to the people and what the people are wanting. I work every day in this city. I try to make the city a better place every day because it's been great to me. It's been really good to me. And I like to think that I am the best person for the job.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Knight, you will have this question next first. How do you think opinions on social media will influence your decisions and actions?
Social media is a great tool if we use it correctly. Now, social media is great to get out there and get out our message, what we want out for what the city has got going on, or like my business, what's time to clean your furnace or whatever it is. But what it is, social media, if used the wrong way, can hurt you. And I feel like if we use it in a positive way and keep it very positive, social media can move us forward, because that is the way of the future. Social media is a lot of young people don't know how to pick up a telephone. They know how to type it on Facebook or TikTok or whatever. They don't use a telephone, or they don't come to a phone. They'll watch us like we are right here on Facebook. So just like this in a positive way, social media is great. And I feel like it will move Hopkinsville forward as long as we keep it in a correct and proper way.
All right, thank you. Ms. West, how do you think opinions on social media will influence your decisions and actions?
Opinions on social media, how will they influence my actions? The opinions on social media, there is nothing wrong with looking at them. But for the business of the city, we have to help citizens to understand how the business of the city works. There is nothing wrong with providing a tool or access for citizens to express their concerns about our city, but they must be truthful and honest concerns and not made up concerns. As an elected official, I use social media to inform the constituents of Ward 3, and it can be a very powerful tool because, as Mr. Knight said, a lot of young adults do not pay attention to these forums. However, with that being said, is that we have to be very mindful of what information we need to look at, make sure that that information is truthful, because a lot of people do not realize that when new companies are considering our city, they look at how our people are responding to our city. So just as well as the mayor and the people on the city council is responsible for empowering our city citizens with information, our citizens also have a part to play as how they portray our city or how they feel about our city. So to answer that question, there is nothing wrong with looking at those opinions. However, we must conduct the business of the city according to the laws of this city and according to the laws of the state and according to the laws of the federal government. And that is how a city must be governed. But yes, we can always consider the voice of the people. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. West, this next question will go to you first. There is a perception that the youth do not return to Hopkinsville after college. What would you do to change that image?
Well, to change that image, you have to start off with the behavior of those who are here. As an elected official, one thing that I did to help change the behavior in Ward 3 is I modeled. You cannot expect people to be one way when you model a different behavior. If I wanted people to be concerned about Ward 3, then I had to model by showing them and empowering them with knowledge. If I saw baskets in ditches, I picked them up and I took them back to the dollar store. If I saw a house that was structurally unsound, I reported that. So what I did, because I noticed those things, I acknowledged them, and then I showed it to the public, I showed the citizens of Ward 3 that I am attentive to the issues within our ward. Because of that, it caused them to be more attentive. And so therefore, they will call me about calls, or they will call in to report different things. If we want people to remain in this city, we are going to have to be attentive to the issues of every ward. We have to be attentive to the needs of our young adults, and we're going to have to be attentive to our needs of our elderly people. Because a lot of times when people come back home, it's because of their elderly parents who have now taken ill and they have to take care of them. So if we want to motivate people to come back to our community, we're going to have to start loving on our community and our wards a little bit better. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Knight, there is a perception that the youth do not return to Hopkinsville after college. What would you do to change that image?
We have to change that image because that perception in some way is true. But Hopkinsville has a lot to offer, but we have to do a lot more. You know, no, we don't have everything Clarksville has. No, we don't have everything Nashville has. But we have to make it better for our young people to come back here. I have a daughter right now that just graduated Belmont, in Nashville. She's living there. But as she come to understand, the cost of living in Nashville is a whole lot higher than what it is in Hopkinsville. But we have to make it so they can have something to do in Hopkinsville, something to go do, something to see. And yes, we have to have them a job that is affordable living instead of them having to work 2 or 3 jobs to make it. And that goes back to jobs. If you want someone to come back here, you've got to have a high enough income for them to come back here. If we do not have a high enough income for people to move to Hopkinsville, to say, be a banker, be a nurse, open their own retail store because the annual income is too low. And if we do not get that up, people will not come back to Hopkinsville. So we do have to work hard at getting that up and getting people motivated and also make them want to come back to a nice, clean neighborhood. Have them invest in Hopkinsville. We have to invest, and we have to ask them to invest. If we don't, we cannot ask the people moving into Hopkinsville. So if we don't ask for the young people to invest, and we're not investing for the young people, we will not go forward.
I want to rebuttal.
Thank you.
on
Go ahead.
myself. One thing that I want the citizens to understand is that we are, as a country, we are changing nationally. The jobs that many of our parents had, those are not the same jobs that we have today. Some of them are still around, but some of them are not. Our younger generation today, they have different needs and different wants. And sometimes our community does not offer that. Is that something that we can work on? Yes. But we have to also understand that every community does not always have everything that another city does. So we have to look at our top qualities, and our top qualities, reach out to those who want those qualities and work and have things here for them that they can come back to. But we have to also understand that every young adult is not going to always return home. But we also need to make home, if they want to come, they can come. And it will be a safe and inviting environment for them to return to. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes.
Yes, I know that we're got to be on the cutting edge, because you looking back at Hopkinsville, who would have thought in 1988 that Phelps Dodge would have been here? Who would have thought Ebonite would have not been here in Hopkinsville? We have to start moving forward and get on the cutting edge. If we don't stay on the cutting edge, the young people won't come back, jobs won't come here. We have to push jobs and higher pay for the people to come here. No, we're not going to have everything Nashville has, because Lord knows I don't care to go over there. But that's where she wants to stay at the moment. But we have to look at Hopkinsville and how we're going to make Hopkinsville better every day. Because, like I said, who would ever thought Ebonite was not going to be in Hopkinsville? We'd have never thought that. But we have to keep moving forward. We have to keep moving Mr. Hendricks and him to pushing on our industrial business, and we have to push on our small business.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Knight, you will get this next question first. What would you do to promote Hopkinsville to potential new businesses and residents?
What was that?
What would you do to promote Hopkinsville to potential new businesses and new residents?
New business in Hopkinsville, we have to go out and we have to promote Hopkinsville. We got to show you that Hopkinsville is worth coming to for new businesses. We have to show it every day. It is not, oh, we got a company coming today. We have to put on that face every day that we need new business in Hopkinsville. We have to ask for them. We have to go see them. We have to cater to them to get them to come to Hopkinsville. Yes. Will there be incentives to give to new businesses? On some businesses, yes. And a lot of businesses, we need to give incentives to come and open, because they're opening up a tax base for us. Payroll tax, property tax. You know, we got to open up our arms, and we got to ask these new businesses to come. I think we need to see them every day. We need to be out asking, because if we do not do it, and we do not bring up our annual, I'll go back to the annual income again. If we do not have an annual income that is higher than $30,000, new businesses, restaurants, stuff like that will not come to Hopkinsville. We have to push forward and make our city better.
All right, thank you. Ms. West, what would you do to promote Hopkinsville to potential new businesses and new residents?
Well, the biggest thing that we have to do is we have to support our local school district. I know, throughout this town, we have been going back and forth about the things that are happening with our local school district. If we really want to sell our city and have people to come to our city, we're gonna have to stop pushing back on our school district and give them the support that they need. I am open to establishing an incentive program for teachers. So if you have a teacher that lives in another state that want to come to Hopkinsville, can our city provide some type of property tax relief so that this teacher can come and remain? I'm open to having a city/county-wide college and career fair for our local school district. We have to invest in our youth. We have to support our local school district. We may not like everything that they do, but what we cannot do is constantly cut at them, because have you ever heard of the story of death of 1,000 cuts? We must stop slashing at our local school district and support them, support the teachers, support the kids, and support the administration. If a large company see that we are 100% invested in our future, which is our children and our school district, then that makes us marketable. And the other thing that I would do is we have to work on our neighborhoods. When these people come to look at our city, they are coming through the neighborhoods first before you get to downtown. So if they see that every ward in our city is thriving and that people are living a decent quality of life, that makes us marketable. And we also know with Southwest Economic Development Council and with this city council, we have created incentives where we give upfront cash with some clawbacks. We are trying. And I do believe that if people from around this world see that we are a city that is 100% invested in our youth, which is our future, in our school district, which we know they need help, then I believe that we can draw a large national-based home office here in our city. And I believe that would help put us on the map. I would love to see a subsidiary of Lockheed Martin here in Hopkinsville, because they do a lot of business with Fort Campbell. How great that would be for our city, because that's going to give us high-end jobs, top quality professionals from the installation and from around here. So I believe if we invest in one another, invest in our school district and support them and our neighborhoods, we'll be better. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. West, you will get this next question first. Would you support efforts like the recycling program or green initiatives? And there's a second part to that question. Why is this important? And what programs would you support to provide those kinds of initiatives?
Okay. When it comes to recycling, I am for recycling. I am for sustainability, because we do have to protect our earth. And whether people want to accept it or not, the weather patterns in this region has changed. We are now the new tornado alley. We now have fire ants when our city didn't have fire ants. We now have armadillos. So we have to help sustain this earth. Now, for me, I do not believe in forcing people to recycle or forcing a charge on them when they're not ready for that yet. Mr. Knight talks about how we have to get the income levels up. If our income levels are down right now, then people cannot afford a recycling fee. But what I am for is doing something like Louisville or Gaithersburg, Maryland is doing. Anytime that you go to Walmart or a store, someone like Aldi's, you have to pay 5 or 10 cents for that plastic bag. Well, like 5 cents, 3 to 5 cents for a plastic bag. But you can bring your own bags, which helps reduce plastic in our waste, in our landfills. So I am for actually charging people for a plastic bag in our city to help reduce the plastic bags so that people can carry their own plastic bags. That is a way to help us generate some revenue, but that's also a way to give citizens a choice. If you want to buy a plastic bag, then you pay the 3 to 5 cents for the plastic bag. If you don't want to pay for it, then you bring your own bags and pack all your groceries out in your own bags, which helps us sustain our city and our earth. So, to answer the question, I am for recycling, I am for sustainability, but I am not for charging citizens a fee to force them to recycle on their monthly water bills, because I don't believe our city is ready for that just yet, but I do believe that our city is ready for a choice of how they want to recycle and how much they want to recycle through paying, 3 to 5 cents, similar to Aldi's. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Knight, would you support efforts like the recycling program or green initiatives? The second part of that question is, why is this important, and what programs would you support for those initiatives?
The recycling program is very needed in Hopkinsville. We are growing every day with more garbage than what you think we are. I've seen it. I went out and visited them at the sanitation department and all that, and they're doing a good job. And recycling is a good thing to have. You wouldn't think you'd have that much recycling going out. You see them loading these trucks, and we're saving that much room on our landfill, saving our taxpayers money on that. We have to figure out how to get people to recycle, because if we don't do the recycling and go a little more green, battery cars are here. We got that new plant coming in. Yes, we got to promote battery cars now. Not all gas and diesel. We have to promote that right there. We step right out here to Stanley. They're putting in solar panels on their own property at the Pop Fastener plant to help offset some of their electric bill. They're growing. Does everyone want a big solar field in their next door? No. Do we need to figure out how we can use that? Yes. We got rooftops. We need to start trying to figure out how to put a solar panel on a rooftop more and more, because it's more and more. I have farmers I know that put up a rooftop on a large building, and that's how they're running that building. It's off the solar panels on their roof of that building. No, they're not all over the fields, because they're still using their cornfields and stuff. So in our city buildings, we might have to start looking into that too. How we can put solar panels on a roof and use it that way to help offset that. And talk to HES and Penny Rollins, see how we can go a little more green and how we can move forward on that. As far as the recycling center here in Hopkinsville, I think it's great. I got that little red Kirby in my house. When we got it, I said, we won't ever use that. Now my recycling bin's fuller than my green Kirby is. So, yes, there is a way, and I think we have to look at it, because recycling is expensive. The time we pay the sorters, the trucks, and all that. Do I feel we can force it on the city yet? No. We cannot force it on the city. It has to be your opinion, what you want to do. But I'd like for you to look at it and ask yourself, is it really worth it for you and a better future for your children?
All right. Thank you. All right. This is our last question for this evening. And Mr. Knight, you will have it first.
Okay.
Would you support a city ordinance such as the Uniform Residential Landlord-Tenant Act that would define the duties and responsibilities of both landlords and tenants? Why or why not?
The landlord ordinance, we have ordinances already on the books with CDS and codes to work with that. But if we sit down and look at it, I'm open. I got an open door policy, as I tell anybody. We'll sit down and discuss it, talk about it. We'll take it to the committee of the whole and talk about it. But if it is equal for the landlord and equal for the tenant, both of them are responsible, and they both got the same amount of skin in the game, and we can talk about a landlord act or an ordinance for that, or a tenant act. Because If we don't hold both parties accountable, then it's not right. And just like right now, we have ordinances on the books that we can go out and they'll come say we have a problem. That is great. Let's go down to CDS, get them to go inspect the house. But if they do not let us in the house to inspect it, we cannot go no further. Now, if there's an issue, we need to make sure that if CDS doesn't do their job, we need to be, as mayor and as council, we need to go down and see why are you not seeing about these issues that we have. Because everyone deserves a good home to live in. And it has to be properly upkept by the tenant and the landlord on both sides on that. Now, like I said, if the tenant and the landlord are both equally held responsible, as far as that goes. If the tenant tears it up, the tenant pays for it. If the landlord, if the plumbing's broke, the roof's broke, the heat's out, it is the landlord's responsibility to be over there to take care of that, because if you don't, you have no right renting out your property.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. West, would you support a city ordinance such as the Uniform Residential Landlord Tenant Act that would define the duties and responsibilities of both landlords and tenants? Why or why not?
Yes, but let me ask this question. Is that Alta that you're speaking about?
Pardon?
Is that Alta that you're speaking about?
Yes, it is.
Okay, okay, all right. A lot of citizens are not aware that with Alta, it has already been adopted by our state, and our state has allowed each municipality to choose if they want to have Alta in their city or not. Alta is something that, yes, I would very much consider adopting. The reason being, if you think about some of the issues that citizens have, landlords and tenants, some of those issues can be resolved by that act. Some people in our city are easily evicted. Some, due to not having contracts or not having a lease. Some people are afraid to even report some of the issues that we have in our city because of retaliation. On the other hand, we have tenants who are not taking care of landlord's property. And I am a homeowner, and if I rented out my home, I want that property to be taken care of. And if you're not going to take care of it, then I want you responsible for that. But the biggest reason why I would push Alta for our community is because Clarksville has accepted it. And Clarksville is protecting the soldiers at Fort Campbell. Right now, Fort Campbell has a housing issue. If we want people to come to Hopkinsville, well, one thing that we have to do is to protect the soldiers at Fort Campbell, because Fort Campbell's priority is those soldiers. If we want them to come to Hopkinsville, we better have something in place to ensure Fort Campbell that we are going to watch out for their soldiers while they live in our city. On top of that, if we are protecting their soldiers, then guess what they're going to do in return? They're going to push their people to our city. If they're pushing their people to our city, that means we're getting more revenue for our city. If we get more revenue for our city, that means we can do more things. So I am a huge proponent of Alta to protect people, which includes landlords, tenants, and potential soldiers coming to this area to live here. I want those soldiers here. And if we gotta get them, the only way we can get them is by giving Fort Campbell surety that we are going to protect our soldiers and not let them be in homes where the landlord is going to take advantage of them. Because one of the most devastating things for a military service member is to live in a place where there's no safety. And we need to provide that. Thank you.
No, thank you. As I said, this concludes all of our questions for this evening. And Ms. West, you will have the closing remarks first.
Everyone, thank you all so much for tuning in tonight and just listening to the debate. I hope that my answers have sparked the interest, sparked your interest in me, that you will vote for me. I'm a person that has a true passion and consideration for our city. As a mayor, my job is to inspire people to live here. As the mayor, my job is to help bring more revenue. I have a plan to bring more revenue. I want to increase home ownership by 25% every year that I am mayor. I want to establish a youth work job, a youth purposeful living job program for the youth here in our city, because that is an untapped group of kids that need help, but not only the help, we can actually receive revenue from their payroll, so that's more money. I want to work with Southwest Economic Development Council and the Chamber to cause more businesses to come to our city. I want to develop our neighborhoods so that every neighborhood in our city is a destination. I don't want it to be where, well, I don't want to go on this neighborhood, I don't want to go to that one. Every ward is a destination. I want the people here in this city to feel welcome. I want you to know that you belong here. I want you to know that we want you here, and we want to keep you here. And I want to do the things by modeling good behavior to let you know that I want you here. Also, to law enforcement, I want you to know that I support you. I'm never against you, because I have experienced some of the things that you have experienced as a former 911 dispatcher. I want to make the culture in this community better, more inviting, and more inclusive. I ask for your vote on November the 8th. My name is Alethea West, and I'm running for mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. West. Mr. Knight.
Thank you to the league for having us here tonight. Thank you to the city for letting us use their chambers. Thank you to the citizens of Hopkinsville that are watching out here on Facebook and the League of Women Voters page. I am asking for your vote for Hopkinsville Mayor on November the 8th. I feel I have a lot to give to Hopkinsville. My business background shows it. I have longevity in this town. I plan on being here for a long time. Now, every city has neighborhoods and has streets and has things that, oh, we got to work on. Yes, we do. We have to work on every corner of Hopkinsville. I mean, every corner. Because if we don't, we are not growing. We are not taking care of our community if we are not. So I need you to vote for me, James R. Knight Jr. for mayor on November the 8th. Your voice in City Hall. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. This program is available on various media outlets until Election Day. It is being live streamed from our Facebook page, the League of Women Voters Hopkinsville, the city's cable channel on Spectrum 376, and a YouTube link will also be available on our Facebook page. Thank you to both of the candidates, also to the City of Hopkinsville and the Mayor for allowing the League of Women Voters to use this public council chambers for forums. Thank you.
Making notes.